Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Open Office Hours. I am Crystal Hinkle, part of the team here at Syncro, and I will let the ladies introduce themselves as well.
Hey everybody, I'm Tatiana. Welcome to Open Office Hours.
Hi everyone, I'm Brandy, also part of the Synchro sales team. Nice to see everyone today.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so just a couple of things. We've got quite a few folks that are filtering in, which is awesome and wonderful to see. So if you've been here with us before, you kind of know the drill. We use the Q&A to be able to manage questions as they come in. So if you see us kind of our glances going over to the side, we're just checking Q&A, trying to keep up on all of those questions. We're going to just maybe do things just a little bit different today. So one being last time we did have so many folks that we were having trouble getting through all of the questions in an hour. And so if we see some feature requests coming through, just know if we don't hit on all of those as being feature requests, we are going to export that chat and we have a running doc of feature requests that we submit to the development team. So just want to let you know those aren't going unnoticed. We just want to make sure that for those of you that are spending your precious time here with us for an hour, we get to all of your questions. So please use the Q&A for those. And then in addition to that, we're adding deep dives and we're really excited about it. So this is another place too, if you do have ideas for what you'd like to see us kind of take a little bit more of a detailed approach to, please let us know. But to start out, I'm going to just hand it over to Tatiana. She's going to do a deep dive of Windows patch management. So if you have questions as she's speaking, Brandy and I will kind of monitor those because she probably won't be able to do both at the same time. So Tatiana, if we see questions that are directly related to what you're talking about, we'll chime in if that's okay.
Perfect. Yes. Awesome. Super excited for these deep dives, you guys. Sometimes you just want to see how things are done live, so we are happy to share kind of in-depth knowledge with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and head over to the policy section within Syncro, and I'll show you how to set up your Windows patches in here. So if you click into any policy that you're building within Syncro, scroll down about halfway, and you have the Windows Update section in here. So when you're building these Windows patch policies, what you want to do is you want to select which patch categories you would like to allow to install. So from this list here, in this example, I have set that I want to make sure that my security updates are allowed to run on a daily basis. And this is how I want Synchro to respond if there is a reboot required. So what'll happen to the rest of these that you leave blank is they're actually going to start filtering in under the missing patches section on the individual asset level. So if we go back to the assets in RMM section, you'll see if we go into this endpoint here, that if we head over to the Windows patches section, you'll see any of those missing KBs start filtering into this section. And then at that point, once you've determined that this patch is safe to go ahead and allow, you can go ahead and install those one at a time on an individual asset basis. One way that you can also utilize our reports is to push those updates in a kind of in bulk. So if you go over to the reports section within Syncro, I'll show you the vulnerable systems report as well as the missing patches by KB. So this first one here will show you which endpoints are missing how many patches. And so in this section, again, if you take a look at this list here, it looks like these three probably need a little bit of attention. I need to investigate a little closer what is happening, why they're missing so many KBs. And then this second report is going to be the inverse of that first one, kind of. You'll have a list of KBs listed here, and you'll see how many of those KBs are missing across how many of those endpoints, if that makes sense. So again, if you've run your tests, you've determined, let's say these top three are safe, you can go ahead and select all three of those and then say install selected, and that's how you push those patches in bulk. So that is how I usually show how to set up your Windows patches. Any questions today?
I see one, Tatiana. Will the patches run later if the device was offline during the path window?
I believe so. What'll happen? Yes, if they are missing, they're just going to keep kind of piling into this missing patches section. If they're actively being blocked, if you don't have them selected here, they're just going to keep filtering into this Windows patches section, and then you push those when you're ready.
Yes, and I think because I think also like if you have them set on a schedule, I think there is a way like it'll essentially like if it misses its patch schedule, it'll just fall back in line to the next patch schedule, so it will fall back into the time frame that you select. The other question, let's see here, can you uninstall a specific KB if one is showing problems?
You can uninstall KBs. You would have to do that through scripting within Synchro. So whether you use the two reports that I showed you, for example, if you know that a patch is having issues, you would be able to run a script either by running a saved asset search. If you go to the assets and RMM section, you can search for that KB in here, pull a list of those assets that are missing or that have that KB that you'd like to uninstall, and then select that saved search, and then select the endpoints in there, and then go to manage and then say run script to uninstall those. We don't have like a built-in button just yet that will say, that will give you a list of available KBs and it says like uninstall or something. That's definitely a highly requested feature that might be coming down the road. But yes, you would need to uninstall using a script.
There's a couple questions in here too. Two of them are relating to each other, but can you block a KB versus uninstall them? And then how do you block specific KBs? So same thing.
Same thing, yep. So currently you can't block one specific KB. As long as it falls under this kind of umbrella of the patch category, these will definitely block. And then once you've determined that they're safe, you can go ahead and push those in bulk with the vulnerable patches report.
Exactly, and I'll just add in here too, there's a few things. Yes, I mean, you can modify reports by client for sure. If there's an error during install, is there a way we can find out? So it's essentially just going to show up as a missing patch. Right now, it's not trigger like a ticket or an error. That is very highly requested, and I believe that's something that we're working on. And then also in that configuration, like I was saying, I didn't have the exact verbiage, but what it is essentially if you have a patch running on a schedule, if it's offline, there is just like a checkbox to have it run on next, like when it comes back online. So there is absolutely a way to manage that. Okay, I just want to make sure we get through all of the questions just related specifically to Windows patch management. That was awesome. So thank you for doing that, Tatiana.
Absolutely.
But Evan has a good one, and I think we probably have an answer for this. Let me just read it through. I haven't specifically, oh, sorry, Brandy.
You're fine. You're fine. Yeah. It's basically along the same thing, but I haven't specifically had to deal with this yet, but I've seen on the Facebook group people who've had to use a script to roll out major Windows version updates. So things like 1903, 1909, those are not going to be handled natively within Synchro using your Windows update. So you would have to use a script for those updates currently. And from what I've heard from our support and devs is that those updates really don't run very nicely within any RMM platform. And so it's best to use script. I will say even I Googled the script and I was able to find it. So it's doable.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Those feature updates can't be discoverable via Microsoft API, which is what we use to push those Windows patches. And so once they eventually become available to manage from our system, that depends on Microsoft. And then once they do, they will be allowed to run through the Synchro system. But right now, yep, exactly. You have to run them on the machine directly.
And that particular question, the script is not in the community script library. I literally just Googled it and was able to find one really easily. So I'm not sure if that's something that you could add to the community script or if they just want to keep it separately.
Yeah, good
but really good question there.
Yeah, really
cool.
Good.
Are we good with the Windows patching? Okay. Bob has a question. Greetings from Vegas. Greetings. New to Synchro, where do I customize the SMS messages? So if you're referring to the templates, currently those are not able to be customizable, but I'll pass that along as a feature request while we're putting those in here.
Cool. Is it, can you customize the ones that like send out via like ticket automations?
I thought you couldn't, but I can double check.
I haven't looked yet because that's pretty new. We just added being able to send SMS from a ticket, right? So I didn't know. I don't know if it is, but I think we have a lot coming actually to our SMS integration. So I think kind of be on the lookout there. I'm going to read this one from Nathan out loud because I was trying to read it while listening to Windows and it didn't work. Any chance of widening the screen table for all views? Right now it is constrained to like a center column with 2 wide empty bars on the sides. Oh. I see what you're saying. I get it. Let me share my screen really quick. I don't actually know. This is going to be the presentation here really quick. Sorry, let me get out of that. Like it's my guess is your speed, like if because I have like a huge widescreen too, and if I bring this over there and make it full screen, like if I'm on the dashboard, there's these 2 columns on the sides that are like very large. We do have like you can go to full screen, so that might help solve it a little bit, but we're continuing to work with the UI and configuration, but just want to make sure you saw that you can enable that full screen. Okay, what's next?
I have one in here from Sergi. He says, we use TeamViewer Corporate and integration with Synchro. It won't let us use unattended access without password. It works on Terran SolarWinds. So yes, I'm double checking for you. I thought it works. I thought you can have unattended access with TeamViewer through Synchro. So I'll double check. If it's a no, I will let you know, but most likely I think it does work. So if it's not for you, reach out to help@synchromsp.com so they can take a closer look for you.
Absolutely. I thought that was why we required the corporate tier.
Right.
Maybe there's just like hopefully it's like one of those where it's just like a small setting that maybe we can look at for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else? Let's see here. Okay. I'm going to grab the one from Scott. If you go to the username at the top right, then select full screen from there, you can expand the tables like tickets and asset tables, which the enable full screen on the dashboard doesn't do. Cool. So he's just saying here, like this one, I think is what you're saying, right? Select full screen from there. Is this what he's saying? Do you guys know?
Username at the top right, select full screen, expand the tables.
Enable full screen and then expand the tables. Cool. All right, let's see here. What else? Go ahead, Brandy.
Ben has a question about project management, and honestly, I'm going to pose this to the group. If anyone has a project management software suite that they would recommend that they have found that integrates, we don't have one directly that is going to integrate into Synchro, but there's a lot of people in this group today, and someone has probably connected something using the API or Zapier or something like that. So if anyone would like to mention what they're using and what works well with Synchro, that would be awesome, and we'll pass that along to Ben.
I also think it would be kind of cool too. I know there's been a lot of talk about having almost like a library for worksheets, the way that we do for scripting, because a lot of that's kind of, how a lot of folks are handling it right now. Go ahead.
Stephen. Oh, I'm sorry, Tatiana, go ahead.
Sure. So next one here is from Nick. He says, probably really easy, but how do I tie a policy like a standard workstation policy for an agent directly to an inventory item, for example, for estimates? Or how do I create a monthly invoice recurring based on the actual number of agents? So really good question. Even if it sounds like it should be something easy, please don't hesitate to ask us. That's what we're here for. We want to support any of the questions that you have, directly address them so that you guys are kind of using Synchro to max capacity for your business. So I'll show you. So when you are creating, I went over to more and policies. When you're creating your asset RMM policies in here, it will actually automatically create a product for you in your products and services section. So for example, here I have one policy that I named base package. If I search for it in here, it should be pulling up here as an example. And this is where and it looks like I like to copy that one, so I have some cleaning up to do in here. But within the base package, this is where you tie an actual cost. If you go over to the products and services section, this is where you would tie a cost to, if you're planning to bill on a per policy basis, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. This is where you tie the costs together in here. You also can edit this in a different way. If you go over to the assets and RMM section, you have the capability in here. If you go to your view and pricing packages, you'll see that it kind of links it in the same way. So you'll see the base package here, and then if you click manage product pricing, it links you again to that same product section in here. So once you have your policy built and you go over to your product and you adjust the price that you'd like to bill for that policy at, let's go ahead and head over to the recurring invoices next, and I'll show you how to actually use the dynamic counter to set that up for you. So if you go over to the invoices module, head over to the recurring invoices. I have one set up in here. So what you'll need to do is select the line item type in here as the RMM package, because you're billing based off of that policy. So in here I have selected, I want to make sure that I'm billing for the base package. And again, it's pulling in a $0 price because I don't have a cost associated. But if you're charging 75 bucks, 100 bucks, whatever you're billing for this policy, it would pull into here. You would add that as a line item to the template. And you'll see I have one listed here. I have one that's I'm billing for the base package. It looks like currently for this specific customer, Larry, for who I built this recurring invoice for, I have that listed as a line item. And for the base package, the agent is dynamically picking up that I have 6 endpoints that are being monitored at this level. And again, because you have everything built in on the same exact platform with Synchro, you're able to have these types of dynamic counters in here to make sure you guys aren't leaving any money on the table. So again, I have one in here, a separate line item listed for the base package. So I know some of you MSPs like to build like a base package, and then you have like a level 1, level 2, level 3, or silver, gold, platinum, and you're offering maybe antivirus on level 2 and then backups on level 3, and you're charging a different price associated based on what level of monitoring you're offering the customer. And this just automates that entire process for you. So again, I have one here for base package. I have 6 endpoints that are being monitored at this level, and then I have one being monitored at the silver level, and then looks like none for gold or platinum. So hopefully that answers your question and brings some clarity. Also, if you guys don't know, we do have if you go over to our YouTube channel and you take a look at the playlists, we have a way to take a look at how to set that up under the billing training. If you click into here, it'll show you how to bill off of a per customer pricing, per asset pricing, and per employee pricing. So if you need a review, you can take a look at there as well.
Bob had a question about if you can bill on user instead of endpoint. So yes, you can, and this is one of those options. It's an extra dynamic counter. So while you're there, if you want to just pop in, it's going to be the customer contact counter. So it's automatically going to count how many contacts are on that account.
Yep, that's
so
correct.
You can do that. Mm-hmm. Cool. Steven's asking if there's an ability to add a custom tab to Synchro. So similar to how like PAX 8 can be a separate tab, it would be nice to have additional tabs for distributors or a backup manager. So there's not currently a way to build custom tabs. I think that's a really great idea, and I'm happy to pass that along too.
Yeah, really cool, because that PAX 8 one is pretty phenomenal. And I just wanted to mention too, and I'll drop this link, I'll grab it, because Derek mentioned he'd love a similar rundown to reoccurring based off counts from PAX 8. We actually already have like a full video of that, but also we have a webinar coming up next week with PAX 8 that's going to be super awesome. So I'll drop the link for that in a second. I can't talk and type at the same time. I was going to answer another couple of questions first. First, Doug wants to know any recommendations for a product like Synchro, but construction companies for service-based businesses. So interesting, Doug. I'd actually like to talk to you about it a little bit more. Is this like separate from your managed service business? Because I mean, if you wanted just like the PSA version, of course, we do have Repair Shopper, that it is like very specific service based that can, you know, cover anything from lawnmower repair, scuba diving repair, all of those kinds of things. So if you were looking for something like that, that was just break fix and maybe not anywhere near your managed services, you could look at that. But really, Synchro has everything that Repair Shopper has. So you could technically just run your service business through Synchro as well. Yep. While I'm talking, and sorry to take up the time. I wanted to answer Rob's question. I need some help setting up block hours. Client buys and prepays for 20 hours. How do you set that up to remove hours when tickets use them up? As a bonus, can those hours expire on monthly or quarterly based contract? Yes, indeed, they certainly can. So let me go ahead and share my screen really quickly. I'm going to head back to a reoccurring invoice, just like Tatiana was on. And I'm going to go, and our faces are in the way again. Hold on. Takes me a while if my face isn't the way of the button I want. So I'm just going to grab, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to grab any invoice here. So essentially what you can do is you can set up your reoccurring invoice. And so based upon the frequency that you're talking about, if it's like, if it resets every month or quarterly, whatever that might be, you have this option here. So you have this clear reset prepaid hours before this runs. So what this is going to do, if you charge your customer 20 hours, you would build a line item, and it's an inventory item. We have a great knowledge base article on this, but it would be a standard line item, and I think mine's called block hours. Yes, so this has to be a prepaid hours category type for it to count those hours down organically right within the app, and then you'd use this in conjunction with this. So essentially anytime in a ticket that you're working throughout that time period, if you hit charge time, when this invoice runs, it's going to grab those hours. And what's nice is if you have it set to reset, or it'll just automatically reset that each month. And if they go over, it'll just charge them whatever they went over. So there's also reports that you can see, like what prepaid hours are left. You can also get notifications if the prepaid hours hit 0. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yep. And I also have a question from Sebastian. What's the best way to work on tickets for internal issues so that tickets, they're not for a client, but for our own company? So I always recommend just setting yourself up as a customer, just your internal company. And then you can create internal tickets that way. That's what I would do. And you can flag them as internal. So that would probably be the best way to do that.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandy. Next question here from Sergi. He says, can we let technicians see what services clients are signed up for without seeing recurring invoices and regular invoices? We only provide monthly services and want to make sure technicians know what services and quantities are provided to each client. So I was thinking through this. There's a couple ways that I would approach this. So first things first, to show you guys what he's talking about, if you go over to the admin section within Synchro under security groups, this is where you can restrict who has access to which parts of Synchro on your team. So for example, if you don't want technicians to do anything with billing, you don't want them to see any invoicing or anything like that, you can just make sure you unselect these, scroll down to the bottom and save, of course, and then they will not have access to that information. So one suggestion I would have for this is you can create a contract for a customer, and in the contracts, this is where you can specify per customer pricing or per customer product offerings even. So first thing I recommend in here when you're building your contract is if you go over to the edit section, just make sure you have this button right here selected, that this contract is going to apply to all tickets. So once you have that selected, you can then build what your product offering is to this customer. So for example, if you have your contract with your customer to where you are including remote labor at a $0 cost, but then you are billing for on-site labor, you would specify that in here. And the more important and more directly to answer your question here is you do have this product block list section here as well. So for example, if you know for this customer, this is a business customer, you're not going to be providing any residential labor as a type for them, you can just list that here in this section. And so when you're creating any type of tickets for the specific customer, when your techs are selecting the labor type that they're working on for the customer, that for some reason it's not loading, apologies for that. It's might be my internet, not sure what's going on, but again, it just wouldn't list that residential labor as an option to choose from when they're working on the tickets, if that makes sense. Hopefully that helps.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Let me clean this up. I answered that one. So I'll just grab this.
I'm letting it sit there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Ben wants to know when the chat feature came out.
Surprise!
Justin, surprise!
The answer is I'm fairly certain that's happening like as we speak. And so with that said, I mean, I think next week we can do a deep dive, like we can go deep into chat, answer all of your questions. I would very much like, as it does get rolled out, you receive that email, you probably will receive an in-app notification that chat is live. We have a phenomenal KB. Please watch the video. The video is ridiculously good. It's so informative. So check it out. Pretty huge Friday today. So really exciting stuff. So to answer your question, like right now, that's when it's.
Yes, yay. I wanted to, I just wanted to spill the beans so long ago and I couldn't. I'm excited. Okay, so I have a question in here. How can we set up a VIP notification on certain customers? So really, really good question. And it's funny, I love custom fields and I love pop-ups, and I'm just gonna pull up an example here. So what you could do, and please correct me if I'm not reading this properly, but what you could do is you could have a custom field that's gonna be a pop-up, and it could say like VIP customer. So whenever you, I can manage my custom fields here, maybe create a new field. I could say, hey, let's make this a pop-up, VIP customer. And then I'm just going to create a customer field. What I can do is now I can go in here and I can say, oh, I have to actually fill that out. But for that customer now, anytime I pull that up, I didn't fill in a custom field for him yet, but anytime I pull up that customer, a pop-up's gonna show up here and it'll say VIP customer or MSP client, whatever it is that you'd like. So that's how I would handle it if that's what you're referring to. I really like pop-ups. You can quickly just dismiss it, but it's a nice way for you to flag certain customers, especially if you have additional technicians, even if it is someone who you wanna see if they're in contract or they are an MSP client, and you can go ahead and work on their devices. So that's what I would do.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandy. Next question here is from Randy. He says, on contracts, can you send out reminders and contracts to the client? So go ahead and share my screen. There's a couple of different things you can do here. So first things first, we're back to the contracts page in here. You can send an email from the Synchro system straight through here. Just click this button right here. This reminder section is built in for you guys to remind you that maybe, contract is expiring, in 2 weeks. Please reach out to the customer, and again, it'll pop up an alert for you there. Again, with the contracts module within Synchro, we don't actually build any type of legal contract for your customers that you can like verbiage and all of that. That's not what's included. This is again just to specify per customer pricing. So I just wanted to clarify that. Or if you did have that signed contract with your customer, you can add the file and include that in here just for it to all be in one place. One thing that I will mention is also another way to remind yourself that a contract is expiring soon is if you go over to the invoices section and then you go back into the recurring invoices. This is where you can have an automated reminder outside and completely separate from this reminder that you set for yourself in here to let you know that a contract is expiring soon. So you would pull in that contract for your customer and say, create a ticket 1 month before the contract expires. And again, that'll generate a ticket for you there. And then obviously if it's just sitting in your ticket queue, you can set a reminder and email the customer straight from there, setting up an appointment to renegotiate or whatever you need to do at that point.
All right, I'm gonna grab a couple, I think. One from Anthony, and I think this is worth clearing up. So it says, if you set up your own company as a client, do you only use dummy emails? Tech support told me not to use my user email address in customer contact field, could confuse the system. And the direct quote, because I do this, this is true. One thing I would suggest is to not have a customer share the same email as your user email, as this can cause issues and a funny feedback loop in your account, as well as the system not being able to distinguish between a user and a customer when you're forwarding emails. So the main thing, yes, if you're creating like a customer to test with, maybe use like your personal email or something like that, because if you, as either a technician or whatever your role is in the company, if you forward in an email to your mailbox, and so what we're going to do is recognize that you are a technician in our system, so we're going to realize, oh, not a customer, let's look for the customer. So that's why it gets like confusing. So if you are going to create yourself as a customer to test things or whatever that might be, definitely use a different email address than what your technician or user email address is. So yes, that is true. And then I'll just grab this other one too, because it had to do with the pop-ups. Will the VIP notification allow you to set a high priority automatically? So the VIP setting won't, but you can do that if you just go to, geez, which screen am I on? Okay, that one. I have too many screens. I was just going to show you, if you go to contracts, the way that you can set a high priority just automatically is set a service level agreement for that customer. So whatever that is, like, meaning you can have like all of their tickets, as soon as they come in, they are already like at urgent or whatever that might be. So that would be the way to set that automatically per customer, not per contact, but per customer. Okay.
Perfect. Nathan is asking about, can we change the type from Synchro device to PC or server for better ID? So you're not able to change I'm just going to share real quickly. You're not able to change the Synchro device because that's how our system knows that it is going to be a managed device. It has the Synchro agent on it. So that is going to be hard coded. You can manage the custom fields from within those assets. But I do like to pull this up because you can create manual assets. You can have additional ones in here. And what you can do from here is you can create custom fields and you can still create tickets against it. So the Synchro device is going to be hard coded, unfortunately, and we're happy to pass that along too. And then real quickly, since we do have quite a few of you with us today, I want to make sure that I have time to ask. Our developers have been working really hard on an importer tool for other platforms. So we do have a Ninja one and a Terra, and we just built one for SolarWinds. So if any of you are with us and you're just getting started, you're trialing, and you're using SolarWinds currently, we are looking for a few people that would be willing to work with our lead developer on getting Synchro on all of those instances before we can uncover it in our App Center and make it available to everyone. We just want to test it with real data. I had a couple of you guys, I think, that are with us today that tried it for Ninja. It was awesome. So it's a good experience, an easy way to work with someone to get your data in there. And if anyone would be interested, please let us know.
So if they are interested, what should we do? Doug, you can just email me.
Yeah, I was going to say you can email any one of us or Crystal, and then we can pass that along to Garrett and get you guys scheduled. He'll probably do, I think what he did with my clients for Ninja is do a Zoom session or some emails, and we'll make sure that you get taken care of.
Yeah. And just in case you don't have our email address, is just our first name at syncromsp.com.
Yep.
Awesome. Next question here is from Max. He says, any way to streamline the email subject from a ticket so that the client always knows what it is relating to? I like the way 3 subject lines from a single ticket depending on the actions accomplished. I'm going to attempt to answer this question. There's a couple things I wanted to mention here. So currently, as far as I know, all of our ticket subjects are hard coded in here. So I was double checking in the ticket settings, and you can customize the ticket issue type as well as the ticket statuses, but the actual ticket subject, I believe these are kind of hard coded on that side. And so these are kind of the ones that are available here. You can set up certain ticket automations. For example, if you say ticket subject is, and you enter one of those hard-coded ones, you could say, I want to email the customer this or that, and you can then edit the subject in here to let them know what you're actually talking about. But again, in the communication section, this subject is hard-coded in that section there.
Mm-hmm. And with regards to the ticket statuses, like when you were in the admin section and showing that you can create custom ticket statuses. Now, most of ours are going to be hard coded in there. If you go down to where you can see resolved, I do have quite a few people who will ask me about. Oh, it's not in there. Did we take it out?
Which one?
oh, there you go, where it shows resolved dash. So I had down further. I have people who are asking like, yes, it's resolved, but it was an abandoned ticket or something like that. If you put resolved dash and then a custom status, it's still going to trigger everything that we would normally trigger with the resolved status. But you're able to group them differently rather than, you know, just a normal resolved ticket. So resolved, I believe, is the only one that can be done that way. I'm not sure if there are any others, but I think we are possibly making some updates there too.
Yeah, that's super helpful. Yeah, thank you, Brandy, because it will also stop the ticket time to completion, that countdown counter that you guys are working against. It will stop that timer there, since it'll mark it as a resolved status. So super helpful there.
The only thing I was going to add, the only other place that you can customize the subject is if you override the autoresponder.
Oh, interesting.
Or yeah, you can.
Yeah.
If you just go to mailboxes, yeah, there. So you can change the subject there. So that's the only other place I know where you can customize that subject line.
Super helpful. Since I showed ticket automations, you can email your customer in here and include the subject here too. You can do that through automated remediations as well. Now that we're kind of showing every possible spot, yes, if you in the automated remediations as a response, you can include a subject in there as well. So if you're responding to a custom ARM alert through the automated remediation, you can set the subject in here when you're converting into a ticket, a custom subject here.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm just going to grab this one from Sebastian. Is there a way to create a customer but block syncing with QuickBooks? I want to create a test company to play with, but I don't want QuickBooks to end up with thousands of fake dollars in invoices and such. So what I found out is you can't actually turn it off per customer basis, but what Lindsay was saying is you can just temporarily disable the integration in the QuickBooks settings, uncheck the sync invoices to QuickBooks setting, test, and then turn it back on. Right now, that's pretty much the best way that you could handle that without getting a ton of like fake stuff into your QuickBooks. And then the other question I was going to grab from Randy here is, can clients set priority on tickets from the portal? So they really cannot set their own priority. The only thing that you can do that somewhat allows this to happen automatically is through our agent contact form. And so, and again, this is kind of a roundabout way, but what's nice about service level agreements, or not service level agreements, but agent contacts forms, is if you're in a Synchro Live session. Has anyone been in a Synchro Live session yet today?
I have.
Okay, cool. So if we pop out Synchro Live, let's just head over to remote desktop here really quickly. This is the agent contact form, and what's nice is that you can have more than one. So like you could technically like have emergency, after hours, regular support. And what's nice about that is they're not selecting their priority, because as we know, most customers, no matter what it is going to select that it's high priority. Like if they're having an issue for them, it's high priority. So anyways, if they choose whatever agent contact form they want, and what's nice about that is that then in the policy level, you have the ability to, on the back end, if you just go into agent contact forms, I love showing these off because these are just pretty awesome, and just having the idea that you can have more than one. And these general ticket settings, these are what you select. So your customers, this is not customer facing, this is what you want to have happen in the back end. So if they select emergency ticket, you could, quickly have it be a specific issue type that maybe is emergency, that then fires off a specific ticket automation and that kind of thing. So roundabout answer, but kind of some way to handle that.
Douglas is asking if we offer referral benefits when we recommend Repair Shopper. I think Repair Shopper has something. I'm not 100% sure. Synchro, not yet, but we're working on a referral program. So we're excited about that. If you do have someone, you can reach out to your representative and give them the email address. We'd be happy to reach out, and we would really appreciate that too. But we're hoping to have something for you guys. I'm not 100% sure what the Repair Shopper one is.
Next question here is from Max. He says, can a customer number be added to the main profile or make a custom field show in the same screen? So I just tested this and maybe I'm missing something, but yes, you can add numbers to just the customer's business name. If you just edit that profile, Larry's business 1-2 is now Larry's business 1-2-3 because I added that in there. But yes, you can add numbers in there, and you can also create custom fields for anything that you'd like. You can include text boxes, check boxes, custom links. You can encrypt custom fields, and if you needed to write some kind of other super detailed notes of, maybe a field that we don't have organically built in, you can use our custom fields for anything that you'd like here. There's a ton of functionality with these. You can tie them into scripts and reference these with scripts and things like that. But to answer your question, yes, you can add numbers to the business name and you can add them to custom fields. It works for both.
Awesome. I'll grab a few here. We also provide Voip services. Would this be added in the products or included in a policy? Either way, you could do it either way. It could be in the description of a policy. You could have Voip services totally separate with its own category in your products and services. So that's totally preference based, totally up to you. And of course, you can add those line items to reoccurring invoices as well. And then last, just wanted to answer this real quick for Jason. Is there a way to use tickets to log labor time for a project without hurting the ticket response metrics? Not right now. You can assign like an SLA and like stop the SLA timer, but the SLA timer right now anyways is not currently directly related to the response time. So right now the answer is no, but I think that that's on the roadmap to update that. Just wanted to throw that out there. Mm-hmm. What else?
I see a question from Curtis about QuickBooks sync errors. So I would absolutely reach out to help@syncromsp.com. They'll be able to help you further with the integrations and any errors. Unfortunately, none of us have access to QuickBooks mixed with Synchro, and we wouldn't be able to troubleshoot that. So to save you some time, I'd go there.
Yep. I think we're going to start, obviously we still have 15 or over 15 minutes, but I'm just going to grab plans for SSO to Synchro, single sign-on. It's not on the roadmap right now, so I don't know. It's not like near future, next 3 months, just being super transparent. I wanted to answer that one real quick. Let's see, there's a lot in here. Let's start grabbing, just start.
Some of them, when is flow route integration going to allow tickets to be created by SMS that's tied to a customer contact mobile phone number? I have no idea. Unless one of you guys know, that's not something we know. Probably the flow route side might know. That's probably a better bet there. And some of these we can answer just via, if we type an answer to you, it's just because there's quite a few in here.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Nick wants to know, are stored saved credentials accessible in Synchro Live to safely store credentials for Workstation server? And no, so you'd probably have to have a separate screen open so you could be accessing your custom fields or credentials, but no, they're not accessible through Synchro Live.
Yeah, some people like to create a custom field for assets that is like a password. So right before, when you click on the quick view button to log into the device via Synchro Live, you can see the password right before. But
I'm going to grab this from Jeff. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Jeff. I get an alert when a server is offline from our policy, but is there a way to get an all clear alert as well? I get a lot of overnight when servers restart, or if there is an internet outage, but nothing after when the server is back online. I believe that's not possible, right?
Yeah, I think it's just going to stop. You're not going to get an alert any longer once that alert has been cleared and it's all set basically. Yeah, there's not like everything's good automation there. I just have a really nice thing here from Nathan. In all honesty, after using many RMMs in the last 10 years, this is by far the best product out there. The fact that we can speak and ask for things and you listening is great, unheard of in this industry, and very welcomed. Kudos. So we really appreciate that. That's super nice. We truly love Fridays. Like, this is I love it. I know all of you that I've had demos with, I tell you to come to Friday open office hours, but it really is a good continued training session and we have a good time.
Heck yeah.
I have a question here from Derek. He says, is there a way to modify the default ticket workflow? For example, not relying on the diagnosis to keep things moving. So I just searched for this within our knowledge base article, and it looks like you don't have to. Based off of this, it says the ticket does have to start off needing a diagnosis, but in order to kind of just quickly get past that, you can just put a comment in the ticket with the subject diagnosis, and then the ticket will no longer be pink in the ticket list. It'll be just a regular in-process ticket. So hopefully that helps, and I'll go ahead and drop this into the chat box for you as well.
Awesome. I was going to grab, is there a resolve date for when the ticket was resolved? So let me just, do you guys know this right off the top of your head? Because if you do, let me know. Because what I was going to do is I was just going to share my screen. I was just going to see status. I want to look at status. I want to take this away and say status is resolved. And I just want to see what happens. Because is there a date?
I only see created date.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything out to the right?
I wonder if it's a
No.
created, invoiced, customized, because you can customize these columns. So you have your due date, created content, invoiced, timer.
Is it showing the ticket like inside the ticket? Any ticket changes made, like at the bottom?
Yeah, at the bottom in the history, like if you scroll to the very bottom, I think it should show there. If you keep going, or does it not go any further?
Oh, I'm not an admin anymore. Am I not an admin, or can I click that? Oh, there.
Yeah, you can see it. So it'll say when it changed, the date that it was changed there, but.
Interesting, but yeah, you kind of have to drill in. Interesting. Maybe there's a report request kind of around that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question there.
Question here about our phone integration. Randy says, can you go over the phone system integration with Synchro? So I'll share my screen here. We do integrate with FreePBX. And so what that allows you to do, if you just go over to the App Center and click into the FreePBX app card, what this will do is it will show the ticket status and the name of the customer. It'll just kind of pop up within Synchro. And it will also create a ticket for you, letting you know that the customer has called and at what time. So you can test this. If you guys are still in trial, you can test this for free, the integration.
Let's see here. Ben wants to know, what's your favorite feature in Synchro, ladies? So one feature, what is it?
Always
so hard. I keep thinking of one and then I'm like, wait, no, this one. I really love saved asset searches. I understand that's like, there's a lot of other really cool stuff, but you can do a ton of things, and I'll be doing a deep dive on what you can do with saved asset searches either next week or the following. So that's my favorite.
I like the automated remediation. Mm-hmm. It just makes, there's so many options there, and the goal is to always automate the mundane stuff and focus on the things that actually kind of push the needle in your business. And so I just think there's a ton of lovely automations and features that you can build in there and help automate your workflow.
Yeah, I really love our agent contact form. Like, I really love it. And then it's so funny because I'm not crazy technical, but our PowerShell module is like insanely cool. Like when I get to learn about new things that you can do with that PowerShell module, and also knowing that really there's not another RMM PSA tool that can do the things that our PowerShell module can do. So like I have kind of a soft spot for that for sure.
Yep. Let's see here. Is your team ready for a flood of feedback on the chat feature set? So yeah, we are. With any new feature that comes out, especially this one, this is a large feature, right? You guys have been asking for a while. It came directly as a result from COVID-19. And so yes, we are ready. We appreciate the feedback. I'm sure they'll be adding new features to the chat, but we wanted to get it out there for you guys.
I got an update, Sergi, for you about the TeamViewer integration working with unattended access. Yes, it is available, and you actually adjust those settings. They're configured on the TeamViewer side. And then I had another question here from Jason. He says, is there a listing of all the keywords that are used for triggering certain events like your resolved status instance? That's actually the only one that I can think of just off the top of my head, other than you building your own ticket automations and things like that. I'll double check and see if we have any other super secret, awesome, hidden automations available for you guys. But I think the resolved status one is the one that I can kind of just think of off the top of my head.
And I have a question just real quickly about automated remediation. So I'm not an MSP, none of us are. Well, you guys are, but the three of us aren't. So if you guys have automated remediations that you all would love to share with each other, that would be awesome. I just want to show you quickly, since someone had asked, the best way to use these is you can be super broad or really granular here. And I'm just going to show a simple one of low hard drive space. Maybe you guys want to take this a step further and say, you know what, they are on my platinum package. So I'm going to come here to my platinum policy. Now any device with low hard drive space with that top tier, you can go ahead and convert this into a ticket, pre-populate fields. You can run a script, and using that awesome PowerShell module that Crystal was mentioning, I could log 30 minutes of time in a ticket on one of my scripts. And then you could email the customer, let them know you did some work, and go ahead and clear the alert. You can also use these with ticket automation. So depending on the status that I had set here or the type, I could say, you know what, anytime a ticket has this, I'm going to go ahead and change it to resolved. So you can go full circle with this, but I love these. I would also love to have, my feature request is to have a repository of automated remediations you guys can pull from. But if you have any you can share, I've seen quite a few people share them on the Facebook group. It's a really great place to do so.
I was typing some answers. One of the things I was hoping I want to here, let me just stop what I'm doing right now and share my screen. I wanted to show the report for, I believe this will answer the report question about time to resolution by technician. So if you go to reports, if you go to employees, I believe it's like, so wait, ticket, is it status, performance? I can't remember. Let's just open a couple of them. Do you guys know off the top of your head? Let's see here. Let's see. So demo engineer, comment type. I don't think this is really the one. This is ticket count, high impact, resolved. It just gives you numbers, I guess. Let's see if there's any. I could have swore there is this report. So if you guys know, just say it. Ticket time by technician. I think this is just gonna. Oh, I think this is just gonna tell you all the time that they've tracked. Let's look one more place.
What about the performance? It's not on there?
I didn't see it on.
Okay. I'm wondering if Domo has,
I think
because that's more of team tracking type stuff. I don't know if it's on there or not.
I wonder like if you just like do like certain, like if you, I don't want to waste too much time on this because I know there's a lot of other things, but like time to resolution, I know, but I don't think that that's, I don't think it's per technician. It's just like a global thing. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. What else can we get through?
I have one in here from Randy. He says, can you give some examples of ways to use ticket automations other than just sending an email? So happy to show you one of the ones that we have as an example for our demo. So as you guys know, you can customize your ticket statuses as well as ticket types. We showed this already a couple times today, but if you go into your settings and to the ticket settings, this is where you can bring your own issue types as well as custom ticket status types as well, the ticket statuses. So in here, I have one example for a ticket automation. It says ticket status is medium impact, and let's say that you have an SLA for this customer and the hours till due date is coming up, and you want to make sure that you know it's coming up. You really need to make sure you take care of it, and this can serve as a reminder. It'll update the status for you as high impact and kind of reprioritize itself in your ticket queue. So that's just one example. If you guys have any others that you'd like to share, please let us know, and we're happy to kind of let everyone else know.
Douglas has a question about forcing a more frequent sync with Synchro to speed up processing of policies or pushing antivirus. So what you can do, as soon as you change a policy, it automatically pushes to the agent. So if you were changing a device from one policy to another, or you were just changing something in the policy, you can even just go into a policy, click edit, and then save without editing anything, and it automatically forces a sync. So you could do that too.
Awesome. Okay. I might be missing it right in front of me, but is there a way I can search assets that haven't been seen in the past, say 2 months? Yes. So that's where, and again, I'm so excited for next week because Brandy's going to talk a lot about this, but you can create a saved asset search. I think I've got one built already here, but essentially you can create one, hasn't checked in a certain amount of days. So you can just create a new search. And I think it's just right here, hasn't checked in. So that's the best way in that I know to do that. While I've got my screen shared, I'm just going to talking about tickets. Is there a way to rename and or delete? Oh, it just moved. Any way to rename or delete the built-in ticket statuses. So you cannot rename or delete the hard-coded statuses because they have back-end settings that trigger off different things. You can add additional ones, but you cannot remove or rename.
Question about non-Facebook groups. We don't have anything specifically through Syncro. I think I've seen people on the Facebook group talk about a Slack channel or a Reddit channel or something like that, but the official one is going to be Facebook. If anyone else has one that they're familiar with, feel free. Again, it's no way affiliated with Syncro, but feel free to mention those.
Mm-hmm. Question here from Sebastian. He says, do recurring invoices get created in QuickBooks automatically? And if so, is there a way to prevent that from happening so we can go in and create each invoice manually from the recurring list? I hope that makes sense. So within Synchro, when you're building your recurring invoices, it won't build a recurring invoice in QuickBooks. Once the recurring invoice creates the invoice in Synchro, that invoice will automatically sync over to QuickBooks. I don't think there's a way to prevent the syncing of invoices from Synchro to QuickBooks, but if I hear something different, I'll let you know.
Yes, I'm just going to hop in here just because we have 3 minutes left, and I know there's probably a lot of folks that have to leave right at the hour. So before that, because we might be able to grab a couple additional questions, but thank you so much for joining if you have to head out right on the hour, but also just one last thing that we kind of have a huge favor to ask. We have started a new campaign, basically like a marketing campaign based upon amazing reviews from our customers. And so I'm just going to put a link into the chat. It takes like a minute or so. You do have to like create a little account, but if you guys have nice things to say about Synchro and you like, what Synchro has done for your business, please leave us an awesome review. It would be super helpful. We would be very appreciative. It'd be pretty awesome to see those come through. So that's my like shameless plug of please leave us nice reviews. Anyways, on with the questions. We have 2 more minutes. Anything? I don't know how to explain this very well. I don't know if anyone does here. The left nav menu in documentation. I struggle with the left nav menu in documentation. So I didn't know if I'm the best person to grab this, but because there was a couple of questions just in regards to organizing documentation in the best way. So there's like a way that you can name your subject, like the actual name, and it's like the way that you block out left nav and then it'll show up over here. So you could put like special ones on the left nav side. There's not like parent-child folders or anything like that, but it's essentially how you name the actual documentation page. So hopefully that helps a little bit, but there is a KB on it as well.
Oh, if you scroll to the second page of that documentation center, Crystal, and then in the welcome one, it shows exactly how to set it up right there.
You edit the left nav doc.
Mm-hmm. It says just create an article with the name left nav and it'll stick it on the left of all pages.
Oh,
it shows the description there.
Cool. Yeah, cool. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet, thanks.
Brian, chat is included. He asked, is it paid or included? It's included. Merry Christmas in May. So yeah, you don't have to pay any additional for features. That's the best thing about all of these features that are being released is you don't have to worry about, you know, oh, cool, that feature is really awesome, but how much is it going to cost me? Yeah. I do have to pop off for a demo, but I hope everyone has an awesome Friday. This was fun. It went too fast.
Thank you so much. We'll see you all next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Memorial Day. Stay safe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.